Hello everyone. In this class we're going to see what are the types of practice in Ashtanga Vinyasa we have and what is the difference between first Ashtanga and Ashtanga Vinyasa. So this is what we're going to see in this video. First thing I will explain to you what is Ashtanga, what is Ashtanga Vinyasa. So that is called Ashtanga Yoga, and nowadays we call Ashtanga Vinyasa practice Ashtanga Yoga in the short form, but you have to know the difference. If you want to practice Ashtanga Vinyasa Yoga, then you need to know the difference between these two practices. And the first one is Ashtanga Yoga, which is came by Patanjali, so which is he just done it the 8 limbs of practice to get reach the goal of yoga. So each people have a different type of goals, like whoever comes and want to practice yoga. But a long time back, Patanjali, right, to reach the goal of yoga, you need to do the steps to reach there, because sometimes people jump directly into something which is much easier things, like a sit down and close your eyes, or like a meditation they call it, or they just do the pranayama directly. They just have to start from the beginning, the scratch. So he created the limbs of it, how to just you need to practice of it. And that's how the Ashtanga came to this world. The first thing, I'm not going to explain what is 8 limbs, because there has to be another class for that, but I will tell you what are the 8 limbs first. So each limbs have at least 1 hour or 1.5 hours to practice. If you are yogi, if you have a lot of time, like the whole day, it will take at least 8 hours to finish the Ashtanga practice. So feels like yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyagara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi. So those are 8 limbs we have, and each limbs we need to practice. So for example, yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, each and everything you need to practice. Yama, niyama, it's a lifestyle, we have to live on it. Once you choose Ashtanga, you need to live on Ashtanga life. So this is just not the practice, it's kind of the lifestyle that you're living on it. It will change your life totally for that. Like you may think this 2 hours practice Ashtanga Vinyasa, but it will change your daily life. But you will understand when it comes to the course, when you're practicing Ashtanga course, you will understand the change of that 1 month. It will be so much different than that you lived before. Or it's not just the course. If you are practicing Ashtanga Yoga, your life will be slowly will change. It will be, it will be noticeable change that you will feel it within few months. So that's what it is all about. First, Ashtanga is the 8 limb. Do you understood that, right? So next thing is the Ashtanga Vinyasa. That whatever I'm going to teach in the mat that you see in the internet, that the pose or sequence, sequence poses, everyone are there, is called Ashtanga Vinyasa Yoga. Ashtanga Yoga is 8 limbs. Ashtanga Vinyasa Yoga, it is the practice we do it in the mat. So that, I can't teach it, but this is the only difference between that. Ashtanga Vinyasa Yoga, we practice asanas with other things, like for example Ujjayi, Bandha we use it, and Drushti we are using it. And what are the why this is called Ashtanga Vinyasa? And this is because we do all that, at least around 7 limbs we are practicing when we are practicing Ashtanga Vinyasa. I can't explain in this class, but just you have to understand. But maybe in the future classes or in future courses, if you are just connect with me, you will understand what I talk about, how these are all connected. So Ashtanga and Ashtanga Vinyasa are so connected. But Ashtanga practice, if you want to do it, you need to do each and everything differently. Pranayama different, asana different. You need to do the pratyagara practice different. Each thing you need to practice differently. But when it comes to Ashtanga Vinyasa, you do it 2 hours practice, maybe from 90 minutes to 2.5 hours. So in those times, you do all of things, but you do most of times, asana, a lot things like, but we do with other limbs also when we practicing Ashtanga Vinyasa. So this is first thing you may come to know it. What is Ashtanga? What is Ashtanga Vinyasa? I didn't talk about different between, but you have to know this is the name different between names, and different practice are there, but it is take at least 8 hours, it's take only 2 hours, and it is much harder, both of them. But anyway, now I come to this, what kind of practice we do in Ashtanga Vinyasa. It's like there are two different things we practice in Ashtanga Vinyasa that's make special than other style of yoga. When you are want to practice Ashtanga Vinyasa, if you learn the sequence, you can practice on your own. So this is the main thing that, like a main goal that, the teacher used to have it. The students need to perform the practice by their own. So we just try to make the people to practice on their own. This is what we always try to do it when is that the teacher want to teach Ashtanga Vinyasa to people. So first thing, you all guys know it. First one is the lit class, that the teacher will be there, or will the students, and whatever the teacher say, the teacher will lead the classes. Whatever he say, the students need to do it. For example, hands up, the teacher say, then student will hands up. It's just the normal lit guided classes that we are practicing Ashtanga. So another thing we are practicing, this is called Mysore style. First thing, you have to know what is Mysore. Mysore is the city in yoga. Actually, it's a city of yoga, but even though it's the city in India, it's located, in the south to the part of India. It's called Mysore. Why we are just, say Mysore practice, this is that, Ashtanga Vinyasa practiced in Mysore long time back. It came kind of in this place, we say is the birthplace for the Mysore practice. So we just gave the name for this practice, just go with the Mysore practice. A long time back, I don't know exactly who gave it everything, but this is we used to call Mysore practice. It's one city. You can go there, of course, practice Mysore style, and it is really good for Ashtanga Yoga if you go to Mysore. I come to the practice now. So Mysore style, what we are doing, what is so special about it? This is the different type of practice, but we are practicing in Ashtanga Yoga. The first thing, lit class, with the teacher, guided, that's fine. But now when it comes to Mysore, you're going to do the self-practice. You're going to do self-practice, but the teacher will be there. You come to Yoga Shala, and there are people, and there is a teacher too. He going to don't say anything what you have to do, not hands up, not breathe. He will be there always, and you have to practice on your own. They will slowly increase the poses. For example, you can't practice all Ashtanga, just like all the practice of Ashtanga on the first day. It will take time. So for example, first few days you can practice only sun salutation and 1 or 2 poses. There are more than 60 poses in Ashtanga practice, so sometimes we practice first and second series too. But for beginners, they can't do all the things. They just have to go with it slowly. If I do the guided classes, I can't teach each and every people differently. But when it comes to Mysore, it's the self practice. The teacher only helps. Like for beginners, he will help. Whatever you reach the new poses. For example, I practice sun salutation and to sun salutation. For example, first 2 days I just practice sun salutation and 1 or 2 poses. I came with empty mind. I have a no clue. The teacher will teach me how to do the sun salutation 1 or 2 times. He or she will stay with me and teach me how to do the sun salutation. Then I do the sun salutation. Another 2 days, if I keep practice, I will understand. I don't need the teacher anymore to practice the sun salutation. Then slowly he will teach one pose whenever your body need it. So that's why like they just may saying to you like you can't practice if you can't do the poses in Ashtanga. It is kind of true. Your body need to get ready. So once the teacher knows your body is ready for the next pose, that's the only way the teacher, she or he, will teach you to just do increase the pose. Like a new pose will teach one by one. It will take sometimes it will take 3 months to go to the next pose, sometimes take years to go to the next pose, but some people can practice within a day. It's up to their how you are practicing, how you are dedicated to the Ashtanga practice. And the Mysore style is so special because you can do on your own, which is own breath. You don't need to just do it because the teacher says. You do it by yourself with your breath. At the same time, the teacher will be always there. So which is, you may practice with the teacher, without teacher, it's so different. So when you practice on your own, with the teacher, it is so different too. You will understand what I talk about when you are practicing Mysore style. Mysore style is simply the self practice with teacher, and this is the best way to start Ashtanga for anyone. Guided practice, yes, it's good, but at the same time, guided practice, it will be hard for beginners. They just cannot do it all the poses on same day. Like I just start with Mysore styles on do the self practice, slowly increase the poses, and it will definitely help for all the people, which is the teacher can teach even for beginner, even for people who practicing second series. But when it comes to guided, you can teach only the primary series or second series. But when it comes to Mysore, the teacher have a heaven day, which is they can just teach for everyone according to their body or according to their practice. And this is the two different practice we practice in Ashtanga Yoga. Why is Mysore style is possible in Ashtanga Yoga? This is because of the repetition of yoga that we practice every day. In other style of, we don't find that like that. One day they may practice different, another day they add, or they don't add something, or they just don't practice on other days. In Ashtanga, it is not like that. You need to practice the same thing every day. For example, you need to do sun salutation, the same sun salutation every day. Sometimes you just need to do that, the same movement, or for each poses, you need to do the same movement, whatever you have done yesterday. So that is why the Mysore style is possible in Ashtanga Vinyasa. Hopefully you understand what kind of practice that we have in Ashtanga Vinyasa. Then hopefully you understand what is different between Ashtanga Vinyasa Yoga and Ashtanga Yoga. And there are so much connection between Ashtanga Vinyasa and Ashtanga Yoga that I will explain in different classes, but you may have to know. But next time when you just say Ashtanga Yoga, it's when you're practicing in the mat, which is asana that I'm going to teach, or which is whatever you're practicing, it will be Ashtanga Vinyasa. You need to know the difference of Ashtanga and Ashtanga Vinyasa Yoga if you want to practice well in Ashtanga. So I know I said so many Ashtanga, but hopefully I won't confuse you in this video. And if you understand the just two topic of this pose, then I will be happier to finish this class. Hopefully you guys understand what is guided class of Ashtanga Vinyasa, what is Mysore style, and what is Ashtanga and what is Ashtanga Vinyasa. Okay, enough of Ashtanga. Sit comfortably straight and bring the palms together and close your eyes. Inhale. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.